Okay, it says I'm live. I forgot to put my lipstick on today. So if it really is live, then you get to hear about that. So today I'm having, now I'm really live. Hello, welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. My tea today is the Tazo Lemon Strawberry Green Tea, which is one of my favorites. I want this to go away so I can see things. And today we are going to talk about books that Mobile Public Library has pre-ordered for August. And this time we're going to focus on science fiction, fantasy, and horror. So how are we doing today? How's everybody's day? In case you ever wanted to know, these are the books I give away. I don't happen to be giving these away today. I'll probably give them away in a few weeks, but what's behind me is kind of a preview of coming attractions. Okay, so let's start off. Let's go ahead and just get into starting off with the giveaway. This is my big pile for today. Wait. Whoa. That's my pile for today. So we're going to do this the way we've done the last few weeks. I keep thinking eventually I'm going to have to stop this because I'll run out of books, but then they send me more books. So, we just keep being able to do it. At some point, there's probably going to be a cart near the front door of Maine that just says free. And it'll be this pile right here, which is the rejected books. The ones that I mentioned as a possible giveaway and then nobody claimed it. But we get into today, I got to start over at the beginning. Here's how you win. I'm going to name all of these books and tell you what they're about. I only have one copy of each. So if you're interested in that book, put the name of the book in the comments below, along with your MPL location for pickup, so I know where to send it. I will start sending out books right after this show, but I have had extra books every week. So if there's a book you want and you don't see anybody else has asked for it, even if it's, say, Wednesday or Thursday, absolutely put that in the comments. I want all of these to go to people. So even if you're not watching live, you have a very good chance to get one of these books. So getting right into this, let's start with, this is adorable. This is ridiculous. So much cute. Okay. How Stella Learned to Talk. The groundbreaking story of the world's first talking dog by Christina Hunger. This is her. I don't think this is Stella. I think this is a model dog. Although I found a video with Christine Hunger and Stella does look a lot like this. So maybe I'm wrong. But Christine Hunger is a speech language pathologist, so an expert on how people speak, and she helped her dog learn to talk. An incredibly revolutionary true story of a surprisingly simple guide to teaching her dog how to talk. They seem to be doing it with these little buttons. Christina records herself saying words that she thinks the dog has a context for, and then slowly trains the dog to go over and hit the button with their paw to say the word for the thing that they want. I think Stella had a pretty big variety of buttons by the video that I was watching, which is pretty far into it. And I think after she wrote this book, she is also telling you how to do this if you want to get into this. I've seen a few other people who've done this with their dogs and some that have done with cats. And it can be a fantastic communication tool. So if your dog or cat is upset and you don't know why, they might be able to kind of tell you. I watched one video where this lady's cat apparently does not like the Hamilton soundtrack. Maybe too much thumping, because the cat was upset and she asked why, and she was listening to Hamilton, and the cat went over and touched the buttons for ouch noise, meaning I don't like the noise that's happening right now. Please make it stop. The lady with that cat made the mistake of giving her cat a mad button. And I don't understand how you convey the concept of angry to a cat, but if you can convey that concept to anyone, it's going to be a cat. And that cat uses that button a lot because apparently we were all right and our cats are angry with us a surprising amount of time. I saw another lady who's using this technique on her, I think it's a standard size poodle or maybe a mix, but definitely like standard size poodle size. And that dog's called Bunny and has like an array of buttons all over the place. And Buddy, she gave her like why buttons and how buttons. And she's ended up having existential conversations with her dog. Like there was one video I saw where Bunny went over and hit Mom loves Bunny. Why? Like, why do you love me? Well, I don't know. I adopted you at the shelter and you're cute. What answer could you possibly give for that? You're my dog. That's the deal. So yeah, it's a neat idea. I think it's probably a lot of work, although it's, you're working on it with your pet. So it's engagement time for them, and it may make them happier overall if it's a road you want to go down. Or if you're just interested in reading about it, then you would put how Stella learned to talk in the comments and your MPL location for pickup if that's the one you want. Moving on to a mystery, The Temple House Vanishing by Rachel Donahue. Okay. At Temple House, nothing is ever as it seems. Louisa is a new, brilliant scholarship student. Finding most of the other students at the all-girl Catholic boarding school as icy and unfamiliar as the drafty mansion. She forms a fierce bond with the intelligent and compelling Victoria, an outsider and student provocateur. Their close bond is soon unsettled by the young, charismatic art teacher, Mr. Lavelle, igniting tension and obsession in the cloistered world of the school. Then one day, Louisa and Mr. Lavelle disappear. There is no trace of either. It's the unsolved mystery that captivates the whole country. Year after year, the media revisits it and the conspiracy theories persist. Now on the 25th anniversary, a journalist, a woman who grew up in the same street as Louisa, delves into the past to write a series of articles and uncover the truth. She finds stories of jealousy, revenge, power, and class. But will she find Louisa and Mr. Lavelle too? I have to check my phone. Some of the other librarians watch this and tell me, if something's wrong. Although they've managed to not ever be watching when something's wrong. Okay. Because remember, at Temple House, nothing is ever as it seems. Told through alternating points of view, Rachel Donahue's debut novel skillfully, gradually lets the reader into the hearts and minds of both Louisa and the determined reporter. This page turner is perfect for fans of Elizabeth Thomas's Catherine House or Kate Elizabeth Russell's My Dark Vanessa. All right. So if you want this book, you're going to put The Temple House Vanishing in the comments below. I was reading about, I think this is a very solved case. Yes. I was reading yesterday about a case in the 70s where somebody kidnapped an entire school bus of children and the driver out in California. Bizarre story. And apparently also a terrible plan. I guess the bus driver dug them out of wherever they were hidden and got everyone freed. But wow. Sorry, I'm tired and I'm going off on all sorts of tangents today. I think I've given a copy of this away before. But this is The Missing Treasures of Amy Ashton by Eleanor Ray. So if you didn't get a chance to get it before, this is another chance. It's for the fans of The Keeper of Lost Things and Evie Drake Starts Over. Comes a funny, tender debut about a reluctant artist whose collection has gotten out of control, but whose unexpected friendship with her new neighbor might be just what she needs to start over. So if you want that, you want The Missing Treasures of Amy Ashton. All right. This is a leadership, not self-help, but kind of a leadership guide, so somewhat helpful for yourself. But it's Lead from the Outside by Stacey Abrams. How to Build Your Future and Make Real Change. So this is considered a guide to harnessing the strengths of being an outsider and succeed anyway. So if you're interested in that, Lead from the Outside in the comments. Go. I have a copy of that one too. Which, by the way, we do sometimes have extra copies. And I swear sometimes I've expressed an interest in something and then nobody claimed that one. But the thing is, guys, I take some of these home. Sometimes I've taken it home and I started and I didn't finish it, so I bring it back and give it to one of you guys, because why hold on to it and keep somebody else from getting to enjoy it when I can pass it on to someone who would like it. But you really don't have to save books for me. I have all the books. I have so many books. You have no idea. It's so bad. Okay, so this is science fiction. It's Girl One by Sarah Flannery Murphy. They're calling it Orphan Black Meets Margaret Atwood, which I thought sounded really interesting because I like both those things. I have to go inside to get the description. Okay. Josephine Morrow is Girl One, the first of 9 miracle babies conceived without male DNA, raised on an experimental commune known as the Homestead. When a suspicious fire destroys the commune and claims the life of 2 of the homesteaders, the remaining girls and their mothers scatter across the United States and lose touch. Years later, Margaret Morrow goes missing, and Josie sets off on a desperate road trip, tracking down her estranged sisters, who seem to hold the keys to her mother's disappearance. Tracing the clues Margaret left behind, Josie joins forces with the other girls, facing down those who seek to eradicate their very existence while uncovering secrets with their origin and unlocking devastating abilities they never knew they had. A spellbinding supernatural thriller, Girl One combines the provocative imagination of Naomi Alderman's The Power with the propulsive cinematic storytelling of a Marvel movie. In her exciting new novel, Sarah Flannery Murphy digs deep into women's extraordinary power and reveals an unassailable truth. So much strength lies in numbers. So that's Girl One. Okay. I should have told you this in the beginning. The last couple aren't even out yet. So these are brand spanking new. And I think everything I have is an advanced copy. I can usually tell because they put the release date on the spine, and everybody has it except Lead from the Outside, which might just be a copy of the book. Okay, What We Carry, which comes out in August. It doesn't give me the exact date. Does it? Do you? No, it doesn't give me the exact date. Okay, so What We Carry. Cassidy Morgan's life has been following a carefully laid track. Top education, fulfilling career, and a marriage to the love of her life, Owen. The next logical step was starting a family. But when a late-term miscarriage threatens to derail everything she's worked so hard for, she finds herself questioning her identity, particularly what it means to be a mother. Unable to move past her guilt and shame, she realizes there's more to fix than a broken heart. Grief illuminates the weaknesses in her marriage and forces her to deal with her tumultuous relationship with her own mother. Cassidy hopes her work as a veterinarian, specializing in equine reproduction, will distract her from the pain, but instead finds that one case she's working on shines a spotlight on the memory of her unborn son. For once in her life, Cassidy is left untethered and wondering why she wanted to become a mother in the first place. Now she must decide whether to let her pain forever hold her back or trust that there's still something to live for. Then the unexpected happens when Cassidy becomes pregnant again. But the joy over her baby is tempered by her fear of another loss, as well as her increasingly troubled marriage. On a baby boon to North Carolina's Outer Banks, a ferocious hurricane arrives, not only derailing her best laid plans, but also threatening her family's safety. Can she and Owen weather the hurricane? And is it true that after every storm comes a rainbow? So that's What We Carrie by Kaylin Fogarty. And the last one is horror, in keeping with today's theme, Feral Creatures by Kira Jane Buxton. I believe this is part of a series. Okay. When the world last checked in with its favorite Cheeto addict, the planet had been overrun by flesh-hungry beasts. Nature had started reclaiming her territory for mankind. S.T., the intrepid crow, alongside his bloodhound bestie Dennis, had set about saving pets that had become trapped in their homes after humanity went the way of the dodo. That is, dear reader, until S.T. stumbled upon something so rare and so precious that he vowed to do everything in his power to safeguard what he could, quite literally becoming humanity's last hope for survival. But in a wild world plagued by prejudiced animals, feather-raising environments, and new threats so terrifying they make zombies look like baby bunnies, and a horrendous dearth of cheesy snacks, what's a crow to do? Why wing it on another big-hearted, death-defying adventure, that's what. Joined by a fabulous new cast of animal characters, S.T. faces many new challenges, plus his biggest one yet, parenthood. So that's Feral Creatures, which comes out at some point later in August. All right, if you want any of those, you need to put the title of the book and your MPO location for pickup in the comments below. And as I said, I'll start picking people today. I'll check on it some point on Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll definitely check on it on Saturday when I'm in then. And we'll see who gets what. And I keep grabbing that mouse, even though it's not attached to anything. But now we can get into, what do I want to do? I don't know. I want to do that. I want to share my screen so that you can see my slides, because I made them for you to see. And it seems silly to keep them to myself. There we go. Dear New Book Tuesday, which we are already in full swing of. And it's time to hear about the new science fiction, fantasy, and horror that is coming out, beginning with kind of my favorite on this list, even though I'm probably never going to get around to reading it. Also, I don't really read short stories. I don't know why, I just don't. But I mean, at one point I tried to read one of Joe Hill's collection of short stories, and I really like him, and I got bored. So either that particular short story was not the one you should have started out the book with, or I'm not a short story person. One or the other, who knows? Okay, but this is Chill Tidings, Dark Tales of the Christmas Season. So the gifts are unwrapped, the feast has been consumed, and the fire is well fed, but the ghosts are still hungry. Welcome to the second new collection of dark Christmas stories in the Tales of the Weird series, ushering in a fresh host of nightmarish phantasms and otherworldly intruders bent on joining or ruining the most wonderful time of the year. Featuring classic tales alongside rare pieces from the sleepy periodicals and the literary magazines of the library collection, it's time to open the door and let the real festivities begin. It's worth pointing out, apparently ghost stories are a Christmas tradition in the UK. It's part of why Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol, because it was a ghost story set at Christmas. Even though I feel like we kind of interpret it differently because there's larger themes in play, but still. So yeah, if you're interested in Chill Tidings, it comes out, I think, August 1st. Yes, that's what I have down. It comes out August 1st. Okay, Starlight Enclave by R.A. Salvatore. Salvatore is very popular. I feel like this is one you might want to put on hold if you're interested in it, like soonish. Okay, no. Why did you go away? You're not supposed to have, okay, we're back. And you got a preview of books to come. All right. Okay. After the setting dust of the demon uprising and 2 years of peace, rumblings make Jaraxel nervous. This is filled with crazy names. I have taken some of them out. I forgot to tell you this to begin with. And I've just skipped them wherever I can, but there's a few I can't, and Jaraxel is one of them. There's, I think, at least 2 more. So be warned, it might be better to be read, but I'm going to read it out loud and we're going to do our best. Okay. Worried his allies may be pulled into a civil war between the great houses, he is eager to ensure Zaknafine, his friend, is armed with weapons befitting his skill, including one in particular. It's a sword with a crazy name. A powerful artifact, the sword known as the Cutter, has started wars, corrupted its user, and spilled the blood of many, many people. Nevertheless, or maybe because of that, the rogue Jaraxel and a small group of friends will go on an expedition looking for the weapon's last wielder, who of course has a crazy name and is in the freezing north. She may be the key to unlocking the sword's potential and perhaps the key to preventing the bloodshed looming over the Underdark. Give me just a second. To have my tea. Okay. And as they explore the top of the world, Drixit, Drizzt, is on a journey of his own, both spiritual and physical. He wants to introduce his daughter Bree, totally normal name, to Grandmaster Kane and the practices that have been so central to his beliefs. But having only recently come back from true transcendence, the Tao Ranger is no longer sure what his beliefs mean anymore. He is on a path to determining the future, not just for his family, but perhaps the entire Northlands of the realms itself. Two different roads. On one, Jaraxel and Zaknafine are on a quest to find pieces that could offer salvation to their land. On the other, Drixit seeks answers that could offer salvation to not just his soul, but all souls. And no matter the outcome of either journey, the realms will never be the same again. This Salvatore is written in this world before, but Legend of Drixit. So he's going to be important to the story. But this is a new series within that world. So if you were looking for a jumping on point, this is book 1 of the series, and this might be a good place to jump on. If you're interested in Starlight Enclave, it comes out August 3rd. Move to books you've already seen the cover of. Okay, this doesn't have any crazy names. I am pleased. I'm making fun with love because I too am a science fiction, fantasy, horror geek, and I love those things in books when I read them, but they are annoying outside of that context. Like, I'm all about Sauron, Salrumon, and all. You just go for it, but man, you try to explain it to an outsider. Okay, this is a different thing altogether. I think this is horror. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is horror. When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen, a haunting novel about a Black woman who returns to her hometown for a plantation wedding and the horror that ensues as she reconnects with the blood-soaked history of the land and the best friend she left behind. More than a decade ago, Mira fled her small, segregated hometown in the South to forget. With every mile she traveled, she distanced herself from her past, from her best friend Celine, mocked by their town as the only white girl with Black friends, from her old neighborhood, from the eerie woodsman plantation rumored to be haunted by the spirit of slaves, from the terrifying memory of a ghost she saw, and the terrible, terrible day when a dare gone wrong almost got Jesse, the boy she secretly loved, arrested for murder. But now Mira is back in Kipson to attend Celine's wedding at the plantation, which has been transformed into a lush vacation resort. Mira hopes to reconnect with her friends, and especially Jesse, to finally tell him the truth about her feelings and the events of that devastating long ago day. But for all its fancy renovation, the Woodsman remains a monument to its oppressive racist history. The bar serves antebellum drinks, entertainments include horrifying reenactments, and the service staff is nearly all Black. Yet the darkest elements of the plantation's past have been carefully erased. Rumors that slaves were tortured mercilessly and that ghosts roam the land, seeking vengeance on the descendants of those who tortured them, which includes most of the wedding guests. As the weekend unfolds, Mira, Jesse, and Celine are forced to acknowledge their history together. and to save themselves from what is to come. This is also a debut novel, so brand new author. If you're interested in when the reckoning comes, it is coming out August 3rd. All right, The Desert Prince by Peter V. Brett. So this is brand new, epic fantasy. I get the impression the author has written in this world before, but this is a new generation of heroes. Yeah, the original books were the demon cycle, but he's moving the story forward. So again, this is probably a good jumping on point. See if you like it, maybe go back and read the old ones. 15 years have passed since the end of the war with demons, creatures of darkness who hunted the night and plagued humanity since time out of mind. The heroes of humanity's hour of need have become legend, and those who remain struggle to escape their shadows. Olive Paper and Darren Bales have grown up in this new peaceful world. Demons have been all but destroyed, but dangers still lurk for the children of heroes. Olive, Princess of Hollow, has her entire life planned out by her mother, Duchess Leisha Paper, a steady march on the checklist to prepare her for succession. The more her mother writes the script, the more Olive rails against playing the parts she is assigned. Darren faces challenges of a different kind. Though free to choose his own path, the weight of legacy hangs heavy around his shoulders. It isn't easy being the son of the man people say saved the world. Everyone expects greatness from Darren, but the only thing he's ever been great at is hiding. But when Olive and Darren step across the wards one night, they learn that demons are not all gone, and those that remain hunger for vengeance. Events are set in motion that only prophecy can foresee, as Olive and Darren seek to find their own places in the world just in time to save it. So that is The Desert Prince. It is also coming out August 3rd. Our big date in August is the 3rd. It's often the first Tuesday in the month is the big book day. Okay. Something New Under the Sun by Alexandra Kleeman. Set in a darkly unsettling near future Hollywood, a novelist traveling to fix his troubled marriage reckons with connectedness, ambition, and corruption in the age of ecological collapse in this piercing novel from the prize-winning author of You Too Can Have a Body Like Mine. East Coast novelist Patrick Hamlin has come to Hollywood with simple goals in mind: overseeing the production of a film adaptation of one of his books, preventing starlet Cassidy Carter's disruptive behavior from derailing said production, and turning this last-ditch effort at career resurrection into the sort of success that will dazzle his wife and daughter back home. Okay. But California is not as he imagined. Drought, wildfire, and corporate corruption are omnipresent, and the company behind a mysterious new brand of synthetic water seems to be at the root of it all. Partnering with Cassidy after having been her reluctant chauffeur for 2 weeks, the two of them investigate the sun-scorched city's darker crevices, where they discover that catastrophic resembles order until the last possible second. In this poised and all too timely story, Kleeman grapples with an issue that is very much front of mind: the corruption of our environment in the age of alternative facts. She does so with a meticulous and deeply felt accounting for our very human anxieties, liabilities, dependencies, and ultimately our responsibility to the truth. So that looks interesting and feels very, like I said, it feels very timely. Because even the California they're describing, like, yeah, that's now. That's all of that. Drought, wildfires, check. But if you're interested in Something New Under the Sun, it comes out August 3rd. The King of Infinite Space. I really like the cover of this one. I don't know why. I just do. In this lush, magical, queer, and feminist take on Hamlet, in modern day New York City, a neuroatypical physicist, along with his best friend Horatio and ex-artist fiancée Leah, are caught up in an otherworldly event surrounding the death of his father. Meet Ben Dane, brilliant, devastating, devoted, Honest to a fault, truly a fault, his Broadway theater baron father is dead. But by purpose or accident, the question rips him apart. Unable to face alone his mother's ghastly remarriage to his uncle, Ben turns to his dearest friend, Horatio Patel, whom he hasn't seen since their relationship changed forever from platonic to something else. Loyal to a fault, truly a fault, Horatio is on the first flight to New York City when he finds himself next to a sly tailor who portends inevitable disaster and whose seeming omnisciently like an architect of mayhem himself. No idea what that sentence was. I read these before I copy them. I read them a couple of times if I'm going to read them out. And I do it at least once out loud. I don't know how I just like threw that sentence before and this time I couldn't, but it's how it goes sometimes. Okay. Oh, okay. Not sure what just happened. Okay, one more. Okay. Meanwhile, Ben's ex-fiancee Leah split from her loved ones thanks to her addiction recovery, and torn from her art, has been drawn into the fold of three florists from New Orleans, seemingly ageless sisters who teach her the language of flowers and whose magical bouquets hold both curses and cures for a price. On one explosive night, these kinetic forces will collide, and the only possible outcome is death. But in the masterful hands of Lindsay Fay, the story we all know has abundant surprises in store. Impish, captivating, and achingly romantic, this is Hamlet as you've never seen it before. This got a starred review from Booklist magazine, which is one of the review magazines that librarians read. If you're interested in The King of Infinite Space, it comes out August 10th. Okay. We're getting through it. I think we've only got a couple more. Wildwood Whispers by Anthony Ryan. This is from the international best-selling author of The Raven Shadow and Draconis Memoria series. Comes the spectacular first novel in this all-new epic fantasy trilogy. Born into the troubled kingdom of Aldermain, Alwyn Scribe is raised as an outlaw. Quick of wit and deft with a blade, Alwyn is content with the freedoms of the woods and the camaradereship of his fellow thieves. But an act of betrayal sets him on a new path, one of blood and vengeance, which eventually leads him to a soldier's life in the king's army. Fighting under the command of Lady Everdeen Courlane, a noblewoman beset by visions of a demonic apocalypse, Alwyn must survive war and the deadly intrigues of the nobility if he hopes to claim his vengeance. But his dark forces, both human and arcane, gather to oppose Everdeen's rise. Alwyn faces a choice. Can he be a warrior, or will he always be an outlaw? This got a starred review from Library Journal, means they wanted to highlight it. If you're interested in Wildwood Whispers, it comes out. I'm reading The Pariah. I am very much reading. Wait. What I just read you is this book, The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. Okay. It comes out August 24th if you're interested. I somehow skipped this one. And this is Southern Gothic, so I really wanted to cover this one. Wildwood Whispers by Wyla Reese. described as a heartwarming novel of hope, fate, and folk magic. It all unfolds when a young woman travels to a sleepy southern town in the Appalachian Mountains to bury her best friend. At the age of 11, Mel Smith's life found its purpose when she met Sarah Ross. 10 years later, Sarah's sudden death threatens to break her. To fulfill a final promise to her best friend, Mel travels to an idealistic small town nestled in the shadows of the Appalachian Mountains. Yet Morgan's Gap is more than a land of morning mists and deep forest shadows. There are secrets that call to Mel in the gaze of the gnarled and knowing woman everyone calls Granny, in a salvaged remedy book filled with the magic of simple mountain traditions, and in connection she feels to the Ross homestead and the wilderness around it. With every taste of sweet honey and tart blackberries, the wildwood twines further into Mel's broken heart. But a threat lingers in the woods, one that may have something to do with Sarah's untimely death, and that now sets its sights on Mel. The wildwood is whispering. It has secrets to reveal if you're willing to listen. And Wildwood Whispers is coming out August 17th. We already did the Pariah, so we're going to skip forward to My Heart is a Chainsaw. Lovely title. You may have seen this in the background from other episodes. It is now at my house. So if I get a chance to read it, and I really want to, I'm going to try to make this one a priority, then I will tell you what I think of it. So, My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Stephen Graham Jones wrote the already critically acclaimed, only came out like last year, The Only Good Indians, which I tried to read and I found, there's a lot of animal harm in that one, which I struggle with. So I ultimately couldn't finish it because of that. But I really like the way he writes. So, getting into the story. Jay Daniels is an angry half-Indian outcast with an abusive father, an absent mother, and an entire town that wants nothing to do with her. She lives in her own world, a world in which protection comes from an unusual source: horror movies, especially the ones where a masked killer seeks revenge on a world that wronged them. And Jane narrates the quirky history of Proof Rock as if it were one of those movies. But when blood actually starts to spill into the waters of Indian Lake, she pulls us into her dizzying encyclopedic mind of blood and mass murders and predicts exactly how the plot will unfold. Yet even as Jade drags us into her dark fever dream, a surprising and intimate portrait emerges, a portrait of the scared and traumatized little girl beneath the Jason Voorhees mask. Angry, yes, but also a girl who easily cries, fiercely loves, and desperately wants a home. A girl whose feelings are too big for her body. My Heart is a Chainsaw is her story, her homage to horror and revenge and triumph. So if you're interested in My Heart is a Chainsaw, I'm kind of surprised that this didn't get a starred review. It may have, and I just didn't realize it. But if you're interested in My Heart is a Chainsaw, it comes out on the 31st of August. And I think, is this my last one or is this second to last? So once you get to the 31st, okay, second to last, In the Watchful City by Lou. This one gets all thinky. And in doing so, they chose to use an alternate pronoun from he, she, they. And that works really well in text, but when I read it out to you, it's not going to make any sense at all. So I've substituted they, them, themselves there instead, so that when I read it out, it will make sense. But know that they've got fancy pronoun for the main character. Okay, this is described as an Asian-inspired mosaic novella that blends the futurism of Lavi Tidar's Central Station with the magical wonder of Catherine M. Valente's Palimpsest. The city of Aura uses a complex living network called the Gleaming to surveil its inhabitants and maintain harmony. Anima is one of those cloistered, extrasensory humans tasked with watching over Aura's citizens. Although their world is restricted to what they can see and experience through the gleaming, Anima takes pride and comfort in keeping Aura safe from harm. All that changes when a mysterious visitor enters the city carrying a cabinet of curiosities from around the world, with a story attached to each of them. As Amina's world expands beyond the borders of Aura to places and possibilities they never before imagined to exist, they find themselves asking a question that throws into doubt their entire purpose. What good is a city if it can't protect its people? And this got a starred review from Publishers Weekly. It's also a debut novel, first novel by this author. If you're interested in the Watchful City, it comes out August 31st. All right. I don't think this one has anything weird going on. Although, is this the one that's described as a Southern Gothic? Yes, it is. All right, save the Southern Gothic for last. Okay. In 1933, 9-year-old Stella is left in the care of her grandmother, Maudie, in the backwoods of Tennessee. Those remote hills of the Smoky Mountains are home to dangerous secrets, and soon after she arrives, Stella wanders into a dark cavern where she encounters the family's personal god, an entity known as the Ghost Daddy. Years later, after a tragic incident which caused her to flee, Stella, now a professional bootlegger, returns for Maudie's funeral and to check on the mysterious 10-year-old girl named Sunny that Maudie adopted. Sunny appears innocent enough, but she is more powerful than Stella can imagine. And she's a direct link to Stella's buried past and her family's destructive faith. Haunting and wholly engrossing, summoning mesmerizing voices and giving shape to the dark, Revelator is a Southern Gothic tale for the ages. If you are interested in Revelator, something like that, it comes out August 31st. All right, we have reached the end of another episode. If you want one of the books I discussed at the beginning of the show, put the name of the book and your NPL location for pickup in the comments below. I will start sending out books as soon as I can. I think our transit van has already come here because they're short-staffed today. So it's possible nothing is going to leave Maine today. But they'll be back again tomorrow and stuff will go out then. Also, we have our Goodreads group. I'm going to put, there's only a couple of deleted titles, including feral creatures, oddly enough. And I will put those on a discussion board for you to look at if you want to on our Goodreads group, which you should join if you'd like. And as always, the newsletter that comes with this show is you can sign up by clicking the link in the comments below. Not in the comments, but in the description. All right. Meet me back here on August 3rd. We're going to talk about September hits because the entire summer is just flying by and going really slow at the same time. I don't understand how that happens, but maybe it's the heat. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.